The grueling game for sure that we're about to see.
All right, up in the top left, playing a fantastic game until one bad engagement. It is SKT1 soO.
And his opponent down here to the bottom right-hand side is the Red Terran player. It is, of course, Liquid Taeja, the 11-time StarCraft 2 champion.
Yeah, and look, he played really, really well.
Yeah.
There's no question about it, but I think if I'm Taeja after that game and the lead I had 2 or 3 times and how soO played, I would be afraid right now. I'd be like, holy God, this guy is a different level than any other Zerg in the world. You can't compare anyone to him. You can't compare Life to him. You can't compare soulkey to him.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it.
And Taeja hasn't played a type of play like this in a long time, so he's going to be very happy, and I think he was very happy with that first victory. There was lots of smiles around after that first map there, and more so not just because he's leading against soO, but more so that he probably felt that soO did gift that victory to him towards the end of that first map.
Well, all right, so Apollo, you just played that game as Taeja, right? You did the proxy racks, you did a lot of damage with it eventually, even though he had a build order counter, had that ridiculously hard game. What do you actually plan on doing this game?
If I'm Taeja, I really take in consideration that Mulis aren't the main focus of soO's army composition and mass banelings are. Okay. Whether he wants to address attacking with more Widowmines or changing away from Widowmines into Hellbats, depending on how he wants to approach this, he's got to be very careful about this mass bailing style here that we're seeing out from soO. That is the #1 thing and #1 difference for soO compared to the most Zergs that Taeja's played recently.
Okay, I do wonder, though, because I feel like when you're behind like soO was, you have to skimp on the mutas. You have to have enough mutas to say no to medevacs, but just enough to say no to medevacs so that you have enough ground army to actually push him back. So I would be wondering about that as Taeja, and I did like the other piece that you said there. I would definitely be considering going into more Hellbats as opposed to Widowmines, because soO, like, we saw a handful of mediocre explosions in Widowmines and a bunch of terrible ones. soO is a god against Widowmines.
Well, Taeja enters the main base of his opponent here, and will spot that the gas has been taken relatively early into this game, so aggressive options are technically available here for soO, and that will be something, of course, that Taeja will want to keep at the back of his mind throughout his scouting here. And of course, soO has seen that he is playing against a command center first here. We want to see the follow-up. He has an Overlord in between the main and third base that he will want to poke in with to spot the second gas or lack of second gas and see if he can see the third command center or not. Something to keep track of.
That's right. The factory on the way. See if he does some Hellion harassment here. Of course, we see just 1 gas, so I'm expecting a third command center coming up pretty quickly here from Taeja.
And soO really not mining very much gas here, only 1 drone within the Vespian Geyser currently, so not looking towards too much aggression, and we'll be looking towards a third hatchery very shortly here. Second gas been squeezed in though by Taeja. So soO actually, as that second gas has been taken, pokes in with his Overlord, so he's going to know as much as we do here, and we'll see that that gas has been taken, which does open up the multiple options here for Taeja. And he's even going to spot this starport, which looks to be added on.
Yeah. And down it does go. A really great Overlord scout here, and in fact, not even going to lose it, it looks like. So, very well done by soO. And, you know, again, I think about that last game and the pure force of will that soO displayed, how, like, he's like, so invincible. He's taken no damage here so far. He's scouted everything perfectly. I would just be so afraid of Taeja. This is like the ultimate foe for Taeja, especially if he actually thinks this is his worst matchup, as he was saying.
I wonder where Taeja's key to success is going to really lie then. I wonder if it's just in dragging the game as long as possible, if he's looking to hit some form of timings, is there, you know, around the 2-2 upgrades.
Well, we actually have a Banshee Hellion on the way. You know, Banshee obviously going to be pretty good here. There's a lot of ways you can fly around between the third and main. And of course that natural, it has its minerals back to the sky kind of, so very easy to harass a bit. And it's like a pretty safe build order overall as well.
Alright, well, Queen's getting out there. We'll see the double evolution chambers come down very, very shortly here. One would imagine here from soO. Only putting one down currently, second one now been thrown in. Overlord getting great scouting information inside that main base. And we did see, because of the good scouting here from soO, that he got that layer immediately in case Overseers were needed against Banshee play here. To keep the mass spores coming down of just overall safer play. Double engineering bay, third command center in as well for Taeja. But this Hellion Banshee not really going to get too much done here.
No, I don't think it is, really. I mean, he's already got some queens out here. We'll see if he can maybe pick a queen off or two, but I don't expect that out of soO. And one thing I do have to say, I think we're going to have... No, it doesn't look like he starts the upgrades quicker. He did have the evos quicker, but maybe a little bit short on that gas and minerals to get it going. Always a big deal, though, when that happens.
Yeah. The Spire has been placed down before these upgrades, so that's something which Taeja will absolutely need to kind of be wary of. He hasn't really seen the fast layer here, so if Mutalisk were to attack before any turrets were up, of course he'd be taking a lot of damage here, but this Banshee seems to be the scouting tool which Taeja needs, as he is going to poke into this main base and see that layer done. He may even see the Spire on its way. Not quite, it is just behind that mineral line, but he starts to tackle this Queen and pokes forward, still missing that Spire scout.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Hellion's also swinging around to the right-hand side here. Maybe looking towards to get back to that mineral line.
Well, let's see if he can get anything in here. Looks like the one queen walks up and some drones are sitting there, but turns around immediately against that one queen. You know, if he does go in that mineral line, with how far out that creep spread is, if the Lings are nearby, he's going to lose his Hellion. So, you know, he's kind of choosing to be a little bit safer here with this harassment.
Well, this game seems like it is going to play out to the later stages, as neither player is really finding any openings. With that faster layer, scout turrets are being added on at the correct time here. Fourth base being placed down by soO. And he's going to need to spread that creep towards that Xel'Naga tower to make sure that Taeja does not get any favorable and easy engagements.
Well, we do have some mutas on the way at the moment. 1-1 going to finish for all parties involved, as well as that Baneling speed coming quite quickly here. You know, it looks like there's just no other way than another epic macro game here, Apollo. Like, these guys are not leaving each other any way to really do damage.
And from this point on, I guess the only way that Taeja can play this next part of the game is maybe try to slow this creep down on this right-hand side and kind of prepare himself for when his 2-2 completes and he starts to become more active on the map. But if he dedicates anything more than that, I think he'd find himself in a bit of a sticky situation. As soO's played a fantastic game. I mean, he's been completely untouched.
Well, right now, Taeja is adding that second factory. So, you know, maybe going to focus heavily on getting Widow Mines out, maybe some Thors as well, as these mutas are a lot quicker than we saw in the previous game. Definitely wants to get those involved. So, we'll see if that can maybe help him to connect with a few big hits. You know, you get a couple good Thor volleys against a big Mutalisk clump or a couple good Widow Mine hits against those Banelings, and suddenly you push the creep way back and gain a huge edge. So I think that that's going to be something Taeja's really looking to do.
And the creep is spreading fantastically through the center of the map here, and Taeja did poke forward, but he actually didn't really clear any creep at all, and the Queens are there to replace anything that had gone down anyway, so Taeja really hasn't done anything effective yet in this game.
Yeah.
Clearly hasn't taken any damage either, so it's not like he's super far behind, but he does need to start to put some pressure onto soO.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to do so now. He does have a lot of Hellbats mixed in here as well, but that's a lot of Speedbanes. Does turn around, and I think that's a good choice. Kind of a scary army to hit off creep there, and Taeja going to push a bunch of this creep back.
Yeah, this is very good here for Taeja. Very good indeed. And Hellbat's been added onto the mix, which is good to see. What do you think? I noticed this earlier. soO doesn't take the all the gases on his fourth base. He only takes one of them. It was the same in the previous game as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of pointed out earlier, Apollo, compared to other Zergs, rather, he really does go Ling Bane heavy, and we see that here. He's really focusing heavily on that. He wants to get some great flanks on and really make it hard to micro against such a giant mass of units. So, you know, it's kind of a stylistic thing from soO.
Great split with that 3 Zerglings there. One of them takes the hit instead of all, but look at how many units he has here. And with the creep spread that he has as well, it's going to be very easy to come from multiple angles. And Taeja clears up that one creep tumor. He's going to take these rocks down, but Is soO going to get ready to take a fight here? He's going to chase his army down. There are Widowmines protecting this.
The Widowmine's not getting the best hits ever. The Banelings do start to roll in, and in fact, we'll get some very good connections.
Very good connections indeed, and once again, a good fight from soO. He still has a supply lead. Taeja doesn't fall too far behind there as he's still able to hold his ground in the center of the field, but whenever you traditionally watch Zerg take a fight off creep like that, they never trade equally, but soO does make it work. 25 additional Banelings are going to be added on. We do see the Infestation Pit thrown down too.
I like the timing of the Infestation Pit. A lot of times Zerg players will skip that for a little bit and go a little bit later, but I think this is a very good timing for soO. He's got the solid 4th base. He's had good engagements. He can definitely afford to tech up to Hive now.
Do you think the drops are effective against a low Mutalisk count? If Taeja was to try to throw a drop somewhere in the mix?
They definitely can be, but if he splits up a piece of his army right now and soO deals with it just right, his ground force is scarier than other Zergs, so that can make it a little bit tricky because you know, a lot of times when you're doing your drops, you're also trying to, let's say, push back creep, and if he tried that, I feel like soO would crush a piece of the army.
Well, Taeja's been pushed back every attempt. He's tried to cross the halfway line in this game. He's got his 4th command center on the way, which he will take very shortly in the center of the field. And also 3-3. A good strong army here from Taeja, but he's still lacking the massive Widowmine hits that we usually see. Look how many units here we have from soO, and he's got a force on the left and right hand side here. 140 Zerglings within this army, of course, joined by 29, 30, 41 Banelings.
That is a lot of Banelings, no doubt about it. And look at this. I love these spreads. Now, there are pieces off creep that he's going to have to use if he wants to do a flank here. So he's got to be careful about that with the timing. But, you know, soO is so practiced. He knows what he's doing. Oh, my God. He's going to do it off creep. Oh, he does turn around. I think that was a good turnaround, Apollo. That's like where soO loses games, is trying to kill people off creep. I think he's almost too confident.
Well, there is going to be a timing window very shortly here for Taeja. Once this 3-3 completes, he's up to 200 supply. And as long as the splitting is good and maybe a couple of lucky hits from these Widowmines, he'd be obviously fighting effectively. But soO, ready to flank again here. Right-hand side covered, left-hand side covered.
Actually knocks down his own rocks there. That is a nice Widowmine field right there, Apollo. That's going to really eat through a flank if soO doesn't do it just right. So far, he has done every flank just right, so we'll see about that. But looks like he does have a counterattack coming in. A lot of mutas going down towards his 3rd base, which is woefully undefended compared to such a large force.
Yeah, supply depots for the taking here. Mutalists are going to have to run away as the Marines come down to defend this. A 3-3 about to complete. This feels like Taeja's good opportunity here to take a good fight and hopefully get some standing in this game.
Well, we do have that Ultralisk Cavern on the way. Already +3 melee attack. Adrenal Glands as well. No Carapace quite yet, but, you know, if soO gets to finish all of his Hive Tech stuff, his upgrades and Ultralisks, then you think he's scary now. Wait till you mix in Ultras to this force.
All right, well, let's see how Taeja's going to take this timing window. It's now, and it's only got a minute or two before the upgrades start to catch up here. He's going to push down this left-hand flank. He's scanned and didn't really see too much here. He's going to move, clear some creep. There's no creep here at all. Maybe that's the reason why he's coming to this side. But his main focus has to be the center here. That's where the 5th base lies. That's where the more enclosed area can be for his Widowmines to get the bigger hits that he desires.
A lot more Banelings on the way right now, Apollo.
Look at how many Widowmines, though, protecting this force.
It is really, really scary. How do you actually set these off right? In the smaller amounts, soO has been impeccable, but we haven't seen Taeja with this many Widowmines in an entrenched position yet, so this is going to be really tough. And in fact, gets a very nice drop-off here in the natural. Will buy him a little bit of time on his attack at the 5th.
He's scanning to the right-hand side here, seeing where the flanking army's going to come from. He stims forward, and he's going to pick up that 5th tap. No! It actually gets away here, but in comes soO with the fight.
This could be bad. Let's see what these Widowmine hits are like. Not really the best. These Banelings do come in, but there's Thors all there. And soO, not quite as good a trade as some of the others, but still pushes a lot of it back.
He does put a lot of spot, but he's got a lot of his army supply on the way, not currently out there. I almost feel that Taeja could poke forward and pick off that 5th hatchery and then back off again. It's so low in hit points.
Does he even realize it's still alive? He must, right?
Oh, he has to.
He's got to get up there and kill that at 80 health. I feel like you could almost just stim 2 Marauders and get it, you know, or even send 1 medevac. that thing is ripe for the taking, and every moment it stays alive is another moment where soO, regains his lead.
+3 attack now done for soO. Carapace only just now starting, unfortunately, but he is adding on Ultralisk, which was spotted there by Taeja with a great scan inside that main base.
6 Ultras
in.
mixed in here, Apollo. This is such a scary army. Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Just craziness. He also, with that +3 melee attack and Adrenal Glands, these Zerglings are going to tear through absolutely everything.
Well, this drop was easily spotted there, and it's going to be easily dealt with as well, unfortunately, there for Taeja. Alright, so this game continues on here. A fantastic series between these two players. Nail-biting play and fight continually going through this game.
Well, let's see. We do have base number 6 being taken and base number 7 by soO, taking both sides of the map right now. Taeja having a hard time. He's kind of... I feel like he can't leave his 4th base area, really. Every time he does, soO just runs right up, and every moment, soO's bank grows. Look at this ridiculous bank. 5k minerals, almost.
Yeah, it's a lot of money he has here to play with. These mules are going to track this drop once again. And it looks like that's going to be picked off pretty easily. Taeja, though, going to set up position outside this 5th. Ultralists are up there waiting. One goes down automatically here, and luckily for that, it didn't take too much heat.
Yeah, this is a hard thing to actually engage for both players here. This is a very messy area, this choke. In fact, he does run down. Kind of sloppy play here by soO. Going to lose a lot of these Ultras right away. Not sure what these Banelings are really going to accomplish either.
Yeah, not the best of fights there for soO.
Yeah. I'm actually a bit surprised he did that. I feel like running away and just letting him have the weak hatchery is going to be a much better play here.
And he does lose that 5th hatchery. Of course, he's got some more around the map, but that was an important part of this game here. With drops going left and right, Taeja starting to gain momentum in this. He needs to clear up the creep on his 5th, which he's about to do, so he can take that. And with moving to this left-hand side, clearing up another hatchery now, has Taeja finally broken through soO?
Huh. Well, I'm not going to say that much quite yet, because we have a bunch of Ultras on the way. +3 Carapace is finally going to finish, bringing upgraded quality for the rest of this game. He's even getting his Mutalisk a little bit higher up, which is kind of an added bonus. And he does have this base down here. So if he can actually saturate that, keep that alive, soO's still completely in it.
Alright, well, soO's going to have to take a very good fight here very shortly. And the creep spread started to disappear a little bit in the center of the field, which is a bit of a problem. Widowmines do borrow to give him a bit of defensive state on this right-hand side.
Not that many Widowmines left. And with Ultras and Lings and Banes in here, if he doesn't get to kill off the Lings and Banes very quickly with that +3, that Adrenal Gland, soO is actually going to have a good fight here, I think.
Yeah, here he comes from multiple angles. Once again, there's a lot of Marauders in this mix there. And the Banelings, I don't really see that many of them, and they do die off incredibly fast. A couple of good hits that did squeeze through, though. And the Ultra's going to chase this army back.
Yeah, these Ultras just heroes there. The Banelings actually wasted heavily on those armored units, but soO does push him back for now. Doesn't want to lose too many of these Ultras, though. He's been very wasteful with them.
And he's using his back incredibly well here. 9 Ultralists, 32 Zerglings remaxed, straight back to 200 supply. And it's 150 to 200 here. The 5th base has been established, so Taeja will climb up quite rapidly in terms of his supply once again.
Oh man, this once again a crazy game, Apollo.
Is there any missing parts from Taeja's army, or is it just going to come down to the fights? Do you think he adds on anything else to assist in these engagements, or?
Look, I could see him maybe trying to make like additional planetaries or something, but the thing is those get sniped really quickly if you're not completely on top of them. And with this type of small mineral bank he has, I don't even think it's the greatest plan. So I think he has to focus heavily on Marauders, try to get more Widowmines out, and just micro his heart out.
All right, well, a fight's going to take place here as Taeja micros back towards the upper ground of this middle platform, but at the same time, soO unleashes 5 Ultras and a few Banelings here to break this 5th base, which he does, well, also killing 22 SCVs here.
Wow, these Ultras just so scary at the moment. He has a ton of them out in the map. More and more Zerglings on the way. Very Marauder-heavy force. Sure, they die quick to Ultras, but oh, they kill him quickly as well. He is going to kite back right now, but a lot of his units in the red.
And Taeja going to continue to hold his defense. soO surely can't fight up this ramp, and he will turn back. He did just build up to 80 Zerglings and is going to bring them into the fight, morph them into banelings once again, and try to take another fight. There is the morph. But Taeja, by losing that 5th command center, is starting to hurt with his own income in this game.
Apollo, I just saw him making some infestors, and I was going to say this is the one thing that he's missing right now. If you have infestors with this type of army, what in the world is a Terran supposed to do? I mean, you throw down a single fungal, everything under it dies in like a second. It's craziness.
Well, this is a pretty good fight once again by soO as he's trading so much of this Bioforce away. There's even a couple of banelings that squeeze in to get some good hits.
Ooh, this is getting cost inefficient now, though. He's got to be careful about this. I think he's overcommitting here once again.
Only 105 supply, though, for Taeja, and soO still up to 180. And those infestors, if Taeja goes too far across the other side of the map without really realizing what's around, there's a lot of units still left over here for soO.
You're playing here, Apollo. You have this bio-based force, and you're playing against Ultra Ling Infestor with a few mutas mixed in. What do you even go for here? This seems so impossible.
It seems very difficult, and I think we're about to see the full extent of that as well as he comes crashing through with some very good fungals on these bioforces, protecting this planetary. And really, where are the units here for Taeja? He's down a 90 supply. A couple of Marines tackling that 5th base, which does bring soO back, but as we can see here, Taeja started to run out of options. He doesn't really have that much money, doesn't really have a big army.
You know, soO is actually falling down as far as his bank goes. It's almost gone, but he does have a much better army, and you know, the thing is, infestors are going to continue to gain value the longer this game goes, so he can just make a few more infestors, continue to fungal, and he's going to be in good shape. So Taeja really needs to get another base immediately.
Well, I feel that, isn't he? He's so vulnerable as he tries to take this base, though, just because he doesn't really have an army size.
It's a tough one. I don't even know where I guess you're supposed to take it towards that bottom left, but how do you ever secure that? He just runs in with his Ultra Ling Bane Infestor, and it gets killed off immediately. You know, this might be where you start. Building walls are sometimes good. Like, is he
He's
really
so restricted on resources,
Yeah,
though?
He has like no minerals left. This is so tough. The thing is, he has just enough resources to continue to use his production facilities, so I don't know, maybe float a couple barracks over that you're not going to use as much, land him. He's got to do something really creative here to be able to hold on. Well, and I don't even know if that's going to be enough.
I mean, soO knows exactly what Taeja's plan is here to take this 5th base. Obviously, he's running dry of resources, and soO stops that immediately with almost no effort at all from Taeja to try and defend this, as he knows it's going to be a losing fight here. Look at how much energy these infestors have. There's so many Ultralisks.
You can never engage into that. You have to, like, zone with Widow Mines. That is the only thing you can do right now, and even that should not be enough. The supply is almost at this point. Taeja barely holding on, and this is like his last stand, basically. He has to hold this base this time, or soO will have completed this game and get a victory.
Well, soO's going to march down here, sacrifice a few Zerglings to get rid of the Widowmine hits. Taeja tries to unborrow them to try to prolong, to get some decent hits from them, but they really don't do that. And the Infestors come in, some great fungals here, and the Ultralisk really getting up and close.
GG.
GG is called.
Wow.